Hello, everybody. Swell to say, the Analyst Desk is here on Monday. It is I, Jacob Orley, self-proclaimed sports analyst, and I'm in my comfy cardigan. And I'm joined by the man who doesn't need sleeves, but aims to please, Mr. Lane Dashing Daskho.
That's right.
And the man who doesn't like the light, but will record day and night. He's not Kid Cudi. It's Mr. More for Your Money.
Woo!
He's not gonna come alive.
Hey.
Guys, we got an action-packed show. We're gonna go over our Game 7 predictions for the Toronto Blue Jays. If you want to hear about our thoughts about the Jays, plus some great NHL talk, actually, go to our Jays post-game show. Comment section took us down a whirlwind of different ideas, but head over to that.
And I had to do, if you didn't see it, I had to do a little bit of a punishment, sort of say, that you guys might get a good kick out of for watching. So you want to see what punishment I had to cook up for myself for being a little bit of a negative Nancy, go check it out. It was a really fun show we had.
And that's the beautiful thing with the live show. Even though Tekla has commented a Blue Jay post game, we just talk about where the comments take us. The comments took us to NHL, so we went through the NHL rabbit hole on the Blue Jay show.
Speaking of the NHL, we're going to talk about the Leafs locker room issue, players calling out players in the media. Do we like it? Do we dislike it? Canadian Football League, we're going to go over those power rankings.
Uh-oh.
You know I love to make those power rankings and talk a little bit about where each team is sitting. The NBA season is right around the corner starting on Wednesday, so I want to know about the Raptors win total on the over-under. We're going to look at the sports books and see, do we agree or disagree? And finally, Dan will have his positive life notes. We all know Dan gives us nothing but positivity, even when Lane is being captain positive. But let's jump right in to the Blue Jays Game 7. Now, we're not going to spoil how things went in the simulation in case you haven't watched it yet. But Dan and Lane went back into the broadcast booth and did another simulation on MLB The Show. And I got to say, Dan and Lane do a phenomenal job. Like, these guys are just as good as the guys on Sportsnet. Like, you guys do an awesome job with it. I know, Lane, you do it at a professional level. Dan, you're learning from Lane on how it's done.
Thank you. Yeah.
You guys are doing great. But I do want to see, like...
Hit us up.
Exactly. But Game 7, do or die. Winner plays the Dodgers on, I believe, Friday, the 24th. And that's from Mad Mama, so she's a pretty smart lady. But when we look here with the Jays, I'm going to give you guys some keys. And I want to see if you guys agree or disagree with your boy, the self-proclaimed sports analyst. I think it's going to be key for the starting pitcher to get 6 innings. I think that's going to be key for Bieber. He's got to hit 6 innings, and I don't think you want to use 3/4 of your bullpen. I think you got to stick with the guys.
I disagree.
Wow. Already. All right. Let's, before we get through the rest of the keys, let's dive into this one. Dan, you think Bieber can go 3 innings and you're okay?
100%. I'll tell you why. When the Jays beat the Yankees lose in Game 4, they got creative and used their bullpen. So in a do-or-die situation, I think we could do the same. And as we found out from Mad Mama, the World Series doesn't start till Friday. So you got 5 days rest. So it's not like you have a rest all these guys in between. So do-or-die game, you don't have a rest. Why not use your best pitching lineup and have them fresh? Play them 2 innings each if you have to.
No, I agree with you on there. I just don't think I want to be going deep into the bullpen on this game. I want Bieber.
No, I'm going to say use your starters instead. Why not use Bieber, Gosman, and Scherzer?
Because, Dan, as much as I agree if it goes...
And Hoffman.
If it goes long. But look, I'm going to call this here. If I'm going to pick the Jays pitching lineup, Bieber 6, Bassett 7 and 8, Hoffman 9. I think that's your recipe for success for the Jays. And if it goes longer, I mean, you can't use your Savage after I think he had 88 pitches on Sunday night.
Yeah, he blew a lot.
Sure, you could absolutely. Gosman is rumored to be available out of the bullpen if necessary, but let's be honest, I think he's just a decoy.
Yeah.
And I really feel you want Bieber to control the mound because this series, the games that have gone well, the starters have been left in to do some damage. And then you can kind of go to like Varland, who's got that amazing fastball, and then go to a guy like Hoffman to close out. And who knows, maybe you go back to Varland again on Monday. Like maybe
Lauren's looking pretty good.
can only go 5. But I really feel if Bieber can go 6 innings minimum, you're really setting yourself up for success. Dan, you shook your head no, saying that they just use whoever they got. Who knows? They'll pull, I don't know, Marcus Stroman, tell him to come back to the Jays and pitch an inning.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, if you're in a tight, I think this game is going to be a very tight scoring, low defensive game. And I think if you're in a tight, low defensive game, instead of using a pitcher, 70, 80 pitches, or even for like a bunch of innings, if you got 5 days left in between, why not stretch it out?
I disagree with you because the bullpen for the Jays this series has been a problem. And
yeah, but I'm saying
I understand you're playing as if this is do or die. There's no tomorrow. And sure, if it's a close game and you've already burnt Bassett and you've burnt Hoffman, you're in the 10th inning, then yeah, absolutely. I go to Gausman and I don't worry about game 1 on Friday. Mm-hmm. But I don't want that to be my first option, right? Because I don't want to have, if anything, if I'm pulling someone out to be out of the bullpen who's a starter, I'm probably taking Max Scherzer instead of Kevin Gausman because I think Scherzer looked phenomenal in the game he pitched in. But at the end of the day, I think between Bieber, Hoffman, Varland, and Bassett, I think you can get this game done. So that is my first key to victory. Okay. Lane, are you on more team self-proclaimed analyst or a team more for your money?
Kind of sitting in the fence. I don't think he's going to hit 6 innings. I think it's going to be around 4, maybe 5 max. Just because I don't think that, you want Bieber to dominate, but you also don't want a situation in Game 7 where they start picking up on the pitches. Like tonight, for example, you don't want a situation where they're kind of waiting on a certain pitch. You kind of want to keep them guessing, keep them on their toes, missing strikes, striking out. And I think the more you keep Bieber in, the longer it's going to, because I think this is going to be one of those games where you're going to go through the lineup probably at least 2 times before the 5th inning, just the way these games have gone with walks and hits and, getting guys on base. The Mariners do a fantastic job with that, putting pressure on you constantly. I don't think Bieber's going to have – he's probably going to hit around 60, 70 pitches around that 5th inning in my prediction. I think that's a point where you kind of want to put in a Chris Bassett to lock it down. 2 innings, maybe throw to Gausman, maybe a Scherzer, maybe you have to put a Savage in for 1 inning just to kind of –
I don't think you could use your Savage.
Probably not, but I'm just saying maybe if you feel like you have – no choice. And I just don't see it but I would hope you go 6 innings, but I just don't see it.
I guess I'm just looking, right? I know you lost game 5, but Gausman pitched into the 6th inning and pitched very well. It was Little who blew it.
He did.
And you look at game 4, right? Scherzer pitched into the 6th inning and you won. Yeah. Now let's go to game 3. Bieber pitched 6 full innings and you won. Now let's go to game 2 that you lost, and Savage only pitched 4 innings, and they pulled him too early, and then the bullpen, I'm going to say it completely, just kind of collapsed.
Yeah.
Then we go to game 1 of this series, and you have Gausman who pitched into the 6th inning, and again, it was the bullpen that it went off the rails. I just look at the games they have won, and it's been the starter that's carried the workload into the 6th inning. I'm not even saying they got to go 6 full, but if you can go 5.5 off the starter, because I don't know how much, as much as Schneider's not saying it publicly, I don't know how much he trusts half his bullpen right now. I think there's only a few guys he trusts.
Oh, for sure. I agree with that.
And look, it's different to come in the bullpen than be a starter. I don't know if Gausman's ever even came off the bullpen. It might not even work.
He did when he was in Baltimore, but
that was a long time ago. So it's kind of like, for example, when I played hockey, I was not a good goalie when I came off the bench. I was really good when I started, but I really struggled when I came off the
What
bench.
was the difference?
Well, the difference is you're mentally not in it. And all of a sudden, you got to be mentally in it. So I think for bullpen pitchers, they're used to just sitting there, thinking about next time they're going to go to the bathroom in between innings, and all of a sudden jumping in there, warming up and pitching.
Mm.
Whereas the starters, they just prep differently.
You
So
have like a whole hour. Like, I don't know if you ever watch. It's actually, I know he's a really controversial guy, but Trevor Bauer is a. If you ever want to learn about what the preparation is for starting pitching, check out Trevor Bauer's videos in Mexico. I actually watched a lot of his vlogs, and it's crazy what a starting pitcher goes through. Like, you're out there like 3 hours before a game stretching. You're doing a 50, like, I didn't even know this. They do like a 50 pitch like pitching session 2 hours before the game. So really, when you think they're only throwing 100 pitches, they're actually throwing 150 pitches because they pitch like literally half a game before they even pitch the game. I didn't know that.
Yeah. And you know what the thing is too. That's why I compare quarterbacks to pitchers to goalies. They're all kind of that mode. And you look at some quarterbacks; they're phenomenal starters, but they really struggle coming off the bench.
Right.
And you know what? That's why sometimes you need to put people in a position to succeed. Obviously, if this goes like another 15-inning game, like
Right.
Seattle had to get into this series, then sure, Kevin Gausman's coming in, Max Scherzer's coming in.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you are going back to your Savage and just hope that his arm doesn't, give out.
I don't think Little's ever coming in again.
I hope not. But I think a way you can get away from that, though, is the batters being disciplined at the mound. Early in the series, I felt they were chasing pitches too early.
Yeah.
And I think obviously if a good pitch is there, we've also seen some big hits right off a first pitch. So you got to be aggressive, but smartly aggressive. So don't chase early in the count.
I agree with that.
I think that's going to be really big for the Jays. And if they can try to get runs against some starters early, which is what they've been able to do. And I'm, as much as Vladdy is obviously going to be a factor, I think it's that middle of the order with like Clement and Varsho and Badger.
Badger,
I don't know why I keep saying his name with a D. I don't know. He puts the D in Denny's. I don't know. We're not sponsored by Denny's, but we could
be.
But look, I'm just kind of looking for that middle of the order to. I think that's the middle of the order. Just seems to be able to get on base. The middle towards the end, and then that can really bring in some runs.
For me,
they run hard, and I think that could be a big difference for the Jays too. That middle to the end of the order, because obviously the beginning of the order. I mean, if George Springer's even playing today, I imagine he will be.
I still have a wild theory that I don't know. I know you guys said I'm completely up to lunch, and maybe I am. I'm a pretty completely at lunch person.
You should be having breakfast at 2:33 in the morning, not lunch.
Usually I'm the one out to lunch.
But I have a sneakily weird feeling that somehow Bo Bichette, I don't know how they're going to pull it out of their hat, the rabbit out of their hat. I just have a feeling at 10 in the morning we're going to see this player's been removed, Bo Bichette's in, pinch hitting, and they're going to put him in if they have to.
I don't see it, especially for Springer, because then you can't have him for the whole World Series.
Maybe Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, maybe
who's actually been playing pretty well. And then you're losing a guy that can play second base and shortstop for a guy that can't move.
Like
your opportunity was to do it with Santander, and they didn't. So that's telling me Bichette isn't ready for this series.
Do you think Santander will be back for the World Series?
He can't. He can't.
Why?
That's the MLB rules, because they pulled him out. He has to miss the whole next series. That's the problem. If you do this swap with, let's say, Springer for Bichette, then you can't use Springer the whole next series.
Yeah.
And I don't think I want to take that experience away from the lineup. So, look, it's just not how I'm comfortable with. But I will say, I think if Seattle's going to have a shot, I think it's going to be their bullpen's going to have another big game. The games that they've won, their bullpen's been
good.
Oh, yeah.
In the games they've won, in the games they've lost, their bullpen's actually struggled.
Yeah.
So I think for Seattle, they're more the opposite of the Jays. I may be pulling my starter a little bit earlier and trusting in my bullpen if I'm Seattle, because I think we've seen more proof in the pudding from Seattle's bullpen than Toronto's.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, as a guy I think we're going to see a lot of in this game because he hasn't really pitched a lot, but I think we're going to see him a lot. And he was fantastic in the last game. Brian Wu. I think we're going to see a lot of Brian Wu in this game.
Woo!
He did play well, yeah.
He did.
See him coming in.
But now
100%.
it's time for us to make our predictions. And let's be honest, whoever wins, both fan bases are going to go crazy. Jays haven't been to the dance since the 90s. Seattle has never been to the dance except the prom. Who are you taking in Game 7, Mr. Moore, for your money?
I'm taking for Jays.
Lane.
I've been positive all day. I'm going to stay positive. I usually am the negative one on the desk, but I'm staying positive. Let's go Blue Jays.
So if you remember, I said originally the Jays would push it to 7 and then lose in 7 and be a typical Toronto team.
Oh, that probably will happen. But
I said that until hearing Vladimir Guerrero Jr.'s postgame, and I think the leadership culture is different for the Blue Jays than it is for the Maple Leafs. I'm going to call this out. This Blue Jay team is special.
This
hold on, Dan. Let me finish. This Blue Jay team reminds me of the Toronto Argos when they won the Grey Cup, when everyone said there was no way in hell they were going to do it.
Yeah.
I'm switching my prediction, and I'm taking the Jays, and I think it's going to be one of those games where it's going to be close, and there's just one inning that blows this game out of the water, and I am taking the Toronto Blue Jays.
Nice. May I ask what he said? What he said that changed your mind?
What he said was, he's like, look, I came ready. I do it for the city. I do it for the country. We're ready to go. Versus Austin Matthews would be like, oh, we just got to get out there and we just got to play. I felt the emotion from Vladimir Guerrero Jr. I did not feel the emotion when the Leafs were going into Game 7 against the Florida Panthers. Exactly. It was the same thing when the Argos went in and everyone said there was no way they were going to win. And then they talked to Nick Arbuckle and he's like, I'm just going to go out there and play the best football I can to try to give this team a chance. And he did.
Yeah.
I even will take Schneider's approach of the sky's not effing fallen. Maybe that's better than what the Leafs coach is doing. And he's just screaming at his players in the media, even when they win a game. So right now, I think the Jays have a different culture. And I think the Jays are going to get it done. Do I think they're going to win the World Series? I don't know if they can beat the Dodgers or not. But I think they can get it done and beat Seattle. And I think if either of these teams are going to give the Dodgers a hell of a series, I don't think either one of these teams will be swept in the World Series.
Well, that's what I was saying to Dan when we were recording. I'm like, it's funny when you think about it, right? Like, both teams, whether we love them or hate them, whether we love the Jays, we don't like Seattle right now, but you can't deny both teams haven't fought to the nail throughout the American League side, right? You look at the Mariners, right? They went to best of 5 and a 15-inning game to get to the ALCS. Now they're going best of 7 with a team that won their division, won the pennant and everything. 7 games. The Blue Jays, same thing. They had to fight 2-0 to the last game of the season, to the last second to win that game, to even get to be in that spot. Then they had to go toe-to-toe with the New York Yankees, who are no slouch. I know we made fun of them and we laughed at them. That team's not a slouch with Aaron Judge, all those pitches, all those players. That's a hard team. That was a 94-94, same record, intensity, division rival that's been building for years and years. And now you're going to take on the Mariners that came up a 15-inning game, blew you out twice at home. You come back in their barn, you blow them out twice, then you have a meltdown, and you come back Game 6, Game 7 tomorrow night. Like, these teams and the Dodgers have just been like, do. Okay, bye. See you later. See you, bye. They've had no challenges.
Where I think these teams are more battle tested than the Dodgers.
For sure, 100%.
Point Lane. And I just feel like, again, I think we're going to see a really good Game 7 no matter who wins. And I think it's going to be I think on either side, truthfully, I think it'll be a tight game. And one inning is going to change everything. I think there'll be one inning where either Vladdy hits a grand slam or something, or Clement hits a triple to the side that gets everything going, or maybe it's Kyle. I keep wanting to call him Kyle Lowry, but Raleigh and Seattle makes a huge clutch hit who my gosh, was fuming when he couldn't get going against you, Savage.
Right.
Like, I think there's going to be a big moment in this game that turns the tide. Like, I really do believe that. But it's interesting, though, and you were asking me, Lane, and I brought up the Leafs versus the Jays, or like the Argos versus the Leafs and that kind of thing. I don't really like some of the way the Leafs are openly dealing with their drama in the media. For example, we had Anthony Stolarz, even though we didn't say Nylander's name, we all know he was calling out William Nylander for not back checking after he'd been out for over a minute. And William Nylander could have called out Stolarz saying we need a goalie to make 90% of the saves, and he didn't, right?
Right.
And it's kind of like, Lane, when you remember when you called out Ryan Dinwiddie for calling his team a bunch of pretenders in the media. And Ryan Dinwiddie did actually apologize to his group and said, look, I should have at least talked to you guys face-to-face before I went to the media, and that was wrong of me.
Mm-hmm.
And he tried to atone for his mistake. I get why Stolarz is frustrated. And I think when you want to call out the team for not defending the front of the net, that's a different story. But when you're calling out one individual player, and Berube's done the same thing too, I don't know if I agree with it in early to mid-October. Right? You're just...
I don't know. I gotta be honest.
But it's my bigger issue with it too, Lane, is you're in the mecca of hockey in Toronto, and you know this is going to cause so much drama. Luckily, it's with William Nylander, who I don't think the man would run if his ass was on fire. He's just a very nonchalant guy who just takes the subway and wants to live his life. But I just feel like this isn't the way to... If you want to have a closed-door team meeting about it, sure. I don't think airing your dirty laundry out to the media, like going to your 5th grade school teacher complaining that Susie pulled your hair, I don't think this is the way to do it. But Lane, go ahead with your point.
I kind of agree with what you're saying. I don't think it's right, but I also do think that the play of William... I know Dan thinks he's the sexiest man alive. I gotta be honest. I have not liked William Nylander's play. I don't know what's going on with him right now. This is not the same William Nylander I know. I don't know where he's gone, but like, I feel like he's not just playing up to his level. This is he's way above. He's been horrible. He's been horrible.
That's not true. Like,
Lane, he's got 11 points in 6 games, and he's a +2.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
He barely shoots.
But he's got 9 assists because he's a facilitator because Marner's gone. Someone's got to be the facilitator now.
Maybe.
And I'm sorry, but Matthews and Nyes, they can't seem to get much going whenever Willie's not on that line.
That's what I've been saying.
Like, I think William Nylander is basically driving the entire top 6 right now. Like, Tavares has 7, but it'd be really interesting to start.
Am I going to get yelled at again for a bad take again?
No, Lane, I actually, you're not the only one saying it, but people need to realize William Nylander is never going to be the type of player to back check as hard as he's got 11 points in 6 games.
Okay, never mind. I didn't know he had that.
And he's a +2. Like, I just look, and will William Nylander ever be the guy to back check super hard? No, that's not
Neither was Ovechkin.
But I was going to say, neither is Ovechkin. There's a reason why Crosby will always be labeled as a better overall player than Alexander Ovechkin. And look, I'm going to say it. I'm more looking at guys like Bobby McMahon, who has been okay. He's got 3 points in 6 games, but I mean, he's really looking to drive a line. I'm looking at guys like Nicholas Robertson, who hasn't really done much of anything yet.
He's so gone soon.
I'm looking at Easton Cowan, and I'm kind of like, I'm sorry, but why is he in the NHL? He's just not ready. And I'm looking at a guy like Calle Jarnkrok sitting in the press box who's got 3 goals in 5 games, only getting about 9 minutes a game and being able to contribute so much.
It doesn't make sense.
And it's kind of like, why is Calle Jarnkrok not on the top line? So then you know what? If William Nylander isn't back checking as hard, because that's just not the way he plays, and I'm not saying I agree with it, but you know what you get with him.
There's one name that you're missing in all of that. You're missing the guy you like so much from Utah.
Yeah, Dan, I agree. Marcelli so far has not worked, but I don't think they found a line for him yet to work. I think this team will be very different when Scott Lawton's healthy. And
Marcelli's at best a third line player.
Yeah, I think he'll be on the third line instead of Max Domi.
So why we gave up a third round pick and $3.5 million in cap space for him makes no sense to me.
Because, Dan, that's what third line players go for. A third round draft pick is nothing to give up. We basically gave up nothing to get a player that could put up 50, 60 points.
We gave up nothing for nothing, basically.
I don't agree. Again, I don't. It's tough to look at some of these statistics and figure that out.
Well, you think about it. You said not to hit the panic button.
Okay, Dan, Max Domi has 1 point.
We're 10th of the way through the season.
But, Dan, Max Domi has 1 goal in 6 games and he's a -3. Marcelli has 1 assist in 6 games and a +1. So why are you not
Max Domi has to be better?
Max Domi is playing 1,000 times worse than Marcelli.
I agree Max Domi has to be better. Max Domi brings a lot more to the team, like leadership and physicality.
How about Brandon Carlo? I mean, all he's done is take penalties.
Well, that's another problem, too.
Like, I mean, I'm sorry. Right now, Simone Benoit is a better defenseman than Brandon Carlo. Actually, I don't know why we don't try Simone Benoit with Morgan Riley. Like, seriously.
Yeah. I mean, Simone Benoit's based on amazing strides during his time as a Maple Leaf.
Wouldn't be the worst idea, honestly.
He's basically your new Luke Shen, so let's try it. But look, it's just like you have Craig Berube, and again, he's calling out Nylander all the time, yet he's not calling out Matthews. He's not calling out Tavares. He's not calling out Domi.
I think the thing is with Nylander, too, is he's an easy person to use as a scapegoat because you can say, oh, you want William Nylander. He's never going to listen anyway.
And unfortunately, let's be honest, Stolarz is not off to as good of a start as he was last year, right? He's got an
890 Rangers game.
He was phenomenal in that game, but he's got an 897 save percentage and a 2.79 goals against average. That's not bad. But again, it's too early to tell. But all I mean is, and I understand Stolarz' frustration, but I just think both Stolarz and Berube need to do more of this airing out the laundry in the dressing room, not in the media.
For sure.
That's my 2 cents, and I think this team really changes when Scott Lawton's healthy, so Easton Cowan can be in the AHL where he belongs. Yep. Is this me saying Easton Cowan will never be in the NHL? I'm not saying that at all. I think Easton Cowan is a very talented player, and I've seen flashes.
I like him.
But I want to see Max Domi with Matthews and Nyes to see if that can work. And I want to see the third line of like Waugh, Lawton, and Marcelli that was clicking so well in the preseason. And then you can have a really solid checking line with Yarncroke and maybe even McMahon, or maybe McMahon goes up to the second line. I don't know. I don't have every lineup in front of my face to look at it, but I just think this team drastically changes once Lawton's back and some tweaks are made. But what's up, Mr. Daskho?
I have a gas or ass.
And Dan has one too we got to get to as well. But so I'm going to roll the bump and let's see who gets in their gas or ass take.
I'll fight you first, Dan.
First.
Go ahead.
Let's see who's going to get it. Nobody
knows.
There you go. Gas pump and a donkey butt. Here we go. Who's going to get it?
Dan, I'm so positive. I'm going to let you go first because I love you.
Oh, thank you. Well, mine was about Blue Jay related, not Maple Leaf.
Oh, well, mine's Leaf.
That a long time ago. But anyway, gas or ass, what did you guys think of Vladdy Guerrero's comment at the beginning of the post game? Said we're going to try to do that for Game 7.
I'm fine with that. I don't fully love guaranteeing wins because then if you don't get it done, I think it's a bigger disappointment to the fan base.
Yeah.
I don't know. See, I was a little like, as soon as he said try, I'm like, for me, that's a bit of an ass.
Yeah, same. But
I disagree with you.
I look at Mark Messier when he promised.
Era of sports.
You know, I don't know. I don't know.
I don't think Vladdy Guerrero Jr. can say we're going to get it done when they haven't gotten it done before. Mark Messier had gotten it done before.
Well, that's true, too.
You're looking at it was like when Max Scherzer yelled to stay in the game, but Trey Savage wouldn't. They're different stages of their careers.
That's true.
So I'm going to say ass to your take.
I said ass, too.
No, you said ass as you thought Vladdy shouldn't have said it. I'm saying ass like. So you're saying gas. He shouldn't, or whatever. I'm saying gas then.
Yeah, there you go.
So Lane, what's your gas or ass?
Well, I think I'm going to give both of you guys an. I don't even want to say it because it's going to give me an aneurysm. But I have to say it. Mitch Marner, he's got 8 points in 6 games. Did we get rid of the wrong player?
No.
Ass.
Matthew Nyes has 8 points in 6 games. What's your point?
I'm just saying.
Hey,
like,
don't forget, William Nylander.
11 and 6.
Yeah, William Nylander is a way better player than Mitch Marner.
If I'm going to keep it 100 with you guys, and I don't think I think Dan will agree with me.
Matthew sucks.
If everyone's contract was up, I would have got rid of Matthews because I think the leadership needs to change. But there was only one contract that was up.
Yeah.
Well, there was 2, but Tavares came back for peanuts in what NHL standards are. And Tavares does have 7 points in 6 games, including one of the only 2 power play goals we have this year.
Yeah, he's looking really good.
Matthews has 4 goals already in 6 games. But look, I just think we're hitting the panic button too early, and I think the players are getting too pissy in the media too early. I think Stolars and Nylander are going to have to ride the subway together, share a pumpkin spice latte as it's that season. Good. And wait, do you like pumpkin spice lattes, Lane? Because I've actually never had one.
I tried one for the first time. I was like, you know what? I've got to try this. It was amazing.
Okay.
You should definitely. It's a little sweet, but it's not too sweet. Is
it as sweet as me?
Yeah. No, nothing's as sweet as you, Jacob.
Thank you. But
let's just call it what I've been saying since day one. When the Leafs have been winning, look at overtime against the Rangers and they won. It was Nylander to Matthews. You look at Nylander's assists and Matthews' goals. Most of Matthews' goals were assisted by Nylander.
Sure.
We have to load up the top line since Marner's gone and put Nylander with Matthews and Knives. That's the only way this team's going to win games.
You know what? Actually, I'm not totally against it because you could put McMahon with Tavares and Joshua as a second line.
Oh, Domi.
That's gonna suck.
No, actually, I want Domi on the wing with Lawton and Yarbrough.
I'm gonna keep it a buck. I think the problem with the Leafs right now, 100%, is that I'm gonna say that I keep saying, it feels like you got all these guys who are physical. They put a Leafs jersey on and they're like, "I love you. Can I give you a hug?"
I think it's just the way this team plays. I think this team just.
Can I give you a big hug?
I agree with you, Lane. I think I don't think it's so much the Leaf jersey. I think it's just the playing style, and I think they're trying to play the same style they did without Marner, and the team's different. So you boys, I think October is going to be a little rough, and I think by November they'll figure it out. I'm still sticking to that. I think the Leafs can kind of, if we can stick to, look, right now Detroit's the best team in the Atlantic. I don't think they're going to win the Atlantic. It's just too early. I agree with you, Dan, and what both Dan and Lane have said, especially about getting points early in October is easier. But let's be honest, Toronto doesn't do things the easy way. Would have been easier if the Blue Jays didn't go on a random losing streak and didn't have to win out the regular season to win the division. But they did it anyways.
Right.
I'm not concerned about winning the division. As long as you make the playoffs and then at deadline you can go pick up a Natchez or something to kind of balance out.
Oh, yeah. Good point about Natchez. With how he's playing in Colorado.
And it doesn't look like he's going to resign in Colorado. I mean,
I don't know. I feel like, I don't know. He's playing so good this season with McKinnon. He's put up
but I mean, most players, I still think McKinnon's better than Connor McDavid, which I think is showing so far this year. McDavid doesn't even have a goal yet. And that's the thing. We're all flipping out at William Nylander and Austin Matthews.
I love William Nylander.
Nice, and saying we miss Marner. Connor McDavid doesn't have a goal in 6 games.
I think Nylander and Knives are playing incredible. I'm not complaining.
I want to repeat that. The best player in the world hasn't scored in 6 games.
That's incredible.
It is the longest goalless streak in his career.
Well, I know I'm picking to score the next game.
But like, what I mean is, why is not everyone flipping out at that, or Evan Bouchard and Darnell Nurse just randomly falling over for no reason and turning pucks over?
Yeah, that was crazy.
Like, Edmonton fans understand this is early in the year. Let's not hit the panic button. I mean, I would hit the panic button about Darnell Nurse and Evan Bouchard. I think those are two terrible contracts. But Connor McDavid, we know, is not going to go 82 games without scoring a goal, right? I think we can all agree to that, correct?
Yep.
So let's not panic that the Leafs lost a game in overtime to Seattle. Let's just look at it as it's a learning curve with the new team and the way this new team is built. And once Lawton's back in the lineup and they trade Nick Robertson for assets that they can trade later to go get another top six forward, because I think that's going to happen, I think this is a very different team. I don't think the team we're seeing now is the team we'll see in the playoffs.
No, it can't be.
So I just think Leaf Nation just needs to relax a little bit. And I know that's tough, but I do think Brad Treliving and Craig Berube are two smart individuals. But I do think Berube has to start learning how to deal with Toronto media, because I don't think he's handling it well to start the season.
Right.
I actually met Craig Berube.
Yeah, I know you did. You said he was a nice guy, and I think he is a great guy. He's a great coach. But coaching in St. Louis versus coaching in Toronto is two very different.
There are questions I wish I really could have asked him, but of course I just was like, "Hi, I'm Lane. Good luck."
But now it's time that we move from the ice and let's go to the turf. I'm not talking NFL yet, although I don't have it in the script. I do want to throw an NFL gas or ass at you guys in a little bit. So stay locked in for that. But let's jump into our CFL Power Rankings. So with our CFL Power Rankings, I will have the Montreal Alouettes will be sitting at number 1. I'm going to bring that graphic right on your screen for you. Because I'm such a lovely duck. We have the Montreal Alouettes at 1. BC Lions, 2. Calgary Stampeders making a massive jump to 3. Saskatchewan Roughriders, 4. Hamilton Tiger Cats, 5. Winnipeg Blue Bombers, 6. So if you can see, I have the 6 playoff teams in the top 6.
Yep.
Now the bottom feeder teams that aren't making the playoffs. If it wasn't for playoff standings, I'd probably have Edmonton ahead of Winnipeg, to be honest. But Edmonton 7, Ottawa 8, Toronto 9. And the reason why Toronto and Ottawa flipped, I mean, this week Ottawa gave Montreal everything they had with a third. Actually, at the beginning of the year, Trey Adams was a 4th string quarterback. And Toronto got destroyed by Calgary.
As much as I'm an Argo fan, I do agree with your bottom 3, and the order you have the bottom 3 at. I do agree Toronto's the worst team.
I'm sorry, boys. I'm sorry.
That's okay. I agree with that. I agree Ottawa played
4 years.
good.
I'm going to keep telling myself that when I cry myself to sleep.
And I agree that Edmonton is the best out of the bottom. I don't agree with the rest of it. I think, like...
Oh, I know. Here comes BC should be in the bottom.
I do think Calgary should be a bit higher. I think Calgary could have been number 2 or 1.
Dan, you cannot put Calgary number 2 when they beat a preseason roster.
They just beat them. They ate them.
It doesn't matter. They beat a preseason roster.
And Montreal, who they beat? Ottawa?
Ottawa, but Ottawa started a lot more starters than Toronto did that.
Yeah, they barely beat Ottawa.
And BC steamrolled Edmonton.
Honestly, I almost put BC at 1.
And Saskatchewan beat Edmonton.
No, they didn't. Saskatchewan lost to Winnipeg by 1.
Oh, so, why is Winnipeg at the bottom?
Because they're terrible.
And Hamilton had to buy. I don't know. I would have put... Who did BC beat?
Edmonton. They
demolished them, and Edmonton actually was trying through tooth and nail to win this for the playoffs.
I felt so bad for Edmonton that game because they fought right to the end.
But this is
including Cody Fajardo getting sandwiched to try to get that last touchdown.
Probably crazy. I think Calgary looked like a whole different team. I think Calgary looked like the team that started the year. So I would have put Calgary at number 1.
No.
I would have put Saskatchewan 2.
No.
I would have put Winnipeg 3, BC 4,
What?
Hamilton 5.
Okay, get off your I hate Nathan Rourke goggles. BC, I almost put them at 1.
BC's
I really went
now.
back and forth. The only reason why I didn't is Davis Alexander has not lost a game as a starter yet, and I think that has to mean something.
Oh,
Yeah,
for
I
sure.
When Davis Alexander starts, Montreal is the best team in the league for now. I still, I'll dive more into this in our playoff preview, but I think Montreal might really struggle in the playoffs, and I'll explain why in the
Yeah, I can see
preview
that.
show coming up.
Yeah.
BC, their offense, their defense, and special teams, when those three phases roll, they're damn near unbeatable.
But they'll war every game.
Dan, of late, they have
been lately.
I haven't happened lately. I would say throughout the whole season.
Power
they haven't
rankings
been
go
every
by
game.
what's happening lately, not what happened in the playoffs 2.5 years ago. Because
I
that's
hear what
what
you're
you're
saying.
bringing up. Calgary, I think, depending on how they play next week against Edmonton, because as much as that season's over, I think Edmonton's going to come out really hard. I think Calgary could end up being up to number one by the end of next week. Calgary, I had sitting in the bottom-ish for the last couple of weeks. So
Yep.
Calgary took a big jump.
They have, yeah.
On, it is so hard to rate this team because they're not playing any of their starters right now. Right. And a part of me is like, look, they almost beat a team with playing basically with playing them all out of their practice squad players. But at the end of the day, they lost.
Yep.
Hamilton had the bye, so I kind of stick them mid-pack still. Winnipeg, they won, but they look terrible. Brady Oliveira in his media scrum at the end of the game with TSN literally said, if we play like this, we're not going to win in the playoffs.
There are some drama in Winnipeg, kind of like with the Maple Leafs.
Well, yeah, it's the same. Except I kind of get Brady Oliveira's point. They're not giving him the ball when they can't throw the ball. When Nick Dembski's not in the lineup, that offense is just terrible.
Yeah, for sure.
So, Lane, we've heard Dan's points about saying BC's not a good team, even though they have the BC and Montreal are both on 5-game winning streaks, I believe, right? The two best teams in the CFL. How are you feeling about these power rankings, Lane? I think I'm going to predict that you think BC and Montreal should flip.
I think so, but I do get what you're saying with the whole Davis Alexander argument. I will take that. But I mean, personally, I would put BC number one. I think this team is so legit. Like, ever since I know I cried in my seat for probably like 35 minutes before we left that game, but ever since that game, I've really been watching BC. And man, if Hamilton goes out early, which I kind of have a feeling they might, this is going to be the team I'm cheering for. Because, man, this team is fun. Like, I know I picked on him a lot, and I thought he wasn't that good, and I kind of was, like, on your train, like, being like, this guy's an outsider. He makes fun of the CFL. Don't get me wrong. Again, I said this a million times. I think he's terrible in front of a mic, but when you give him the ball and tell him to go out there and play a game, this guy has become – he has awakened again. He is the Nathan Work that we remembered from 2 years ago. He's totally earned that argument. I think he's the MVP of the year. I don't think it's I think unless the only reason
MOP.
Same thing.
Most
MOP.
Outstanding player.
I think he's at the only player I would have given it to if they made the playoffs with Nick Arbuckle. He would have been the only other player that could have maybe challenged for it. But now that that's not happening, I think Nathan, I don't even know how they haven't given it to him already. Nathan Work is just every game, this guy's doing something incredible.
I think Levi Mitchell's in that conversation. I think so is Dedrick Mills, and I think so is Justin Rankin.
Maybe, but
I can't believe I'm saying it. He's only played half the year, but Davis Alexander might be in that conversation as well if he goes undefeated as a starter.
It's pretty impressive.
But these are my power rankings. I'm sticking to them. And if you don't agree with them, then this will be on social media probably by this afternoon or on Tuesday. Give us your thoughts in the comment section on where you think they should be. Maybe you agree with Dan. Maybe you agree with me. Maybe you don't agree with any of us. Who knows? And you think we're a bunch of idiots who just sit behind a desk all day. But that, my friends, was the Analyst Desk Power Ranking. But with that being said, if you are interested in more CFL content, remember, we will be doing a Toronto Argonauts post-mortem show. I'm thinking maybe on Thursday, but we'll give you an update closer to the date how that's looking. But all the Argos have done their post-media season-ending thingamajigs. So now it's time that we look at this team as a whole and we break it down. And we're going to do the same thing for every single team in the CFL once their seasons and their playoffs are over.
Makes sense.
So just so you know about that. But now I want to move to a sport we haven't talked too much about yet because it's just been preseason. And to be honest, I don't know how many people care about preseason. But I want to talk Toronto Raptors.
Yeah.
And before I go over the over-under from the sports books, I want to go over some things first. Brandon Ingram, do you think he could be a real difference maker this year for the Raptors? Because I think he could be.
I think he
might be the missing piece to kind of get this team over the hump.
I agree with that.
Not win a championship, but
No.
maybe make them a competitive. Dan, you agree? Lane, what are your thoughts on that?
That's so low, I think.
Let's not talk about the win total yet. Just Brandon Ingram.
I think it'll be good.
But do you think he could be the difference maker? The Raptors lost a lot of games that you felt if they just had one more guy, one more option that they could win. Do you think he could be that option?
Yeah, I think so. I think the Raptors will actually be pretty decent this year.
What about Scotty Barnes? People are calling they need a leap year from him. Is this the leap year? He's looked damn good in the preseason.
Yes. I think so.
Yeah, I think so.
I'm actually looking, he's not on my list here, but I'm actually looking for RJ Barrett to take a huge jump. I think RJ Barrett's going to be that slasher that this team's really missed. I think Scotty Barnes will kind of continue to do what he's been doing, put around those like just under a double-double every night. I think he's going to continue to be a good player. I don't know if he's going to take another big step forward, though, because I think Barnes is kind of right where he needs to be right now, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But by the sports books, they're only calling for the Raptors 36.5 wins.
No.
So low.
And I think it's low.
I think it's low, too. I think it's going to be higher.
That's low. Okay, Dan, hold on. So you said 90. You said 98 wins. What's your unrealistic win for the Raptors this year? Remember, there's 82 games.
43 wins.
That's not unrealistic at all.
I look at it, I think basketball is a very different sport than baseball. In baseball, not very many teams make the playoffs. In my opinion, the Jays had to make the playoffs, and they did. In basketball, however, you do see the odd time. There's a huge gap in basketball between the good teams and the bad teams. And the odd time you do see under 500 team make for playoffs. I think Ingram is a missing piece for the Raptors. I also think all these younger players, like the Jays this year, have taken another step and got a little more confident, and are going to be better. And I also think it's another year that the coach has another year of coaching on the field because he was new and he was hired. And you got rid of the old GM that got you this championship in 2019. So this is the first year of a new chapter for the Raptors. They play 82 games. I think we're going to be just over 500. So I say 43 or 45 wins.
To put in perspective, in 23-24, they had 25 wins. In 24-25, they had 30 and actually were in the playoff hunt. I think this year, if I was going to set my personal over-under, we have it from the sports books on average. I'm going to put the Analyst Desk over-under. My over-under for this team is 47. So 47.
Be under 47.
I think this team, I'm looking for them to be a mid-pack team in the East. I look at the Pacers with 44 wins, Bucks of 48 last year. I think this team is probably around between the Magic with 41 and the Bucks with 48. So actually, let's set the over-under to 45.5 wins.
I can see that.
Dan's saying 44.5 on his. Lane, what are you saying?
Yeah, I'm saying over that.
So you think over? So what would you set if you're going to set an over under? You set it at maybe 50. Like what are your expectations? You think this could be a top 5 team in the East this year? Because you got to look. The Bucks had 48 and they finished 5th last year. So are you thinking they're comparable to the Bucks?
Yeah, I could. I mean, the Bucks
honestly, no. I actually don't think you're out to lunch because I think the Bucks. Obviously Antetokounmpo is a superstar, but I think the Raptors have more depth. I think Grady Dick's another guy that could take a big step forward.
I think so too.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I think the Raptors, as dumb as it sounds, I know I said the Leafs early on not to panic. I think the Raptors will know by about 15 games what this team is.
I don't think the Raptors are in panic mode quite yet. I think it is more of a rebuilding year for the Raptors. I think if they squeeze into the playoffs at like 8th spot, that's I could see them squeezing in a 7 or 8. I think that'd be a very nice bonus for them. if they, last year was pretty much an embarrassment getting 32 wins, right? If they can do better than that, I would like them to get at least 500. That's kind of my goal for this team this year. So that's why I'm saying 43, 44 wins. And I think this team could do it. It's a new chapter of a new GM, right? So we'll see what happens. My expectation is lower for the Raptors because they just won back in 2019. And, I have not been to a Raptors game yet, so I would like to go this year. That'll be a cool experience on our social media. Hopefully we can all make one. And just to add something else with my school at Sports Entertainment Marketing at Santa Clara York here, just joining my first NBA fantasy draft, even though I know nothing about it. So our draft is at 9 o'clock tomorrow night. So Mr. Daskho and I were talking, maybe that'll be something cool we can record on the air. We determine our draft order.
You guys need to move that.
What?
There's no way you're going to want to do the draft during the Jays game 7. Tell your classmates to pull their heads out of their butts. I'm sure your classmates are great people. Thank you for watching the show. But
I'm not going to tell them now 3 o'clock in the morning. I'll mention that in the morning.
Why not? They call you at 9 o'clock in the morning.
It's a little more reasonable at 3 o'clock. But
not to me. I'm more likely to be awake at 3 in the morning than 9. What about you, Lane?
Yeah, no, me neither.
Okay, I'll text him. Because it's too bad. I finished 6 as my duck has a hat. I like my duck with the hat.
But I kind of want to start to go over some interesting over-unders, and these are the averages from Yahoo Sports and DraftKings, and they're kind of combining them all with some good old math. OKC is set for 62.5 as your top team in the league next year. Cleveland 55, Houston 54.5, Denver 53.5, New York Knicks 51.5. So those are kind of like your top tier. Funny enough, most people are having the Raptors at the top of the bottom 10 with around that 32.5, 35.5. I really think the Raptors are going to be more of a mid-tier team than a bottom 10 tier team.
Yeah.
That's my thoughts on it.
I agree.
Yeah,
and what surprises me is that the Pacers only had 44 wins last year. Pacers had a pretty deep playoff one. So in basketball, the key is just making it to the playoffs. Right?
I think the Pacers, though, will be not as good this year because their point guard, Lane, help me out here.
Tyrese Halliburton, yes.
Yeah, I don't think he's playing this year at all, right?
Right. No, I agree. It's not going to be as good, but let's go.
But, since we didn't get a chance to do it during our football segment, I do want to go back to football. And I have a gas or ass for you because Dan did a gas or ass. Okay. Lane did a gas or ass. I wanted to save my gas or ass for towards the end of the show. This one is going to drive you boys crazy. Gas or ass, Daniel Jones is a top 5 MVP candidate right now in the NFL.
100%.
Gas.
Colts are dominant.
100%. Right? They look great.
No
one saw that with a bingo card, but hey, give them credit where credit's due.
Right now, Daniel Jones is absolutely dominating. This year, he's already thrown 1,790 yards, 10 TDs to just 3 interceptions. And the bigger number of that in total, too, I honestly think wins matter when it comes to MVP because I think most valuable means different than most outstanding. I think for a most valuable player, you have to be on a winning team. The Colts are 6-1. They're on a 3-game winning streak.
Probably best record in the NFL, isn't it?
Haven't lost at home. Yeah, currently right now, the Colts are the best team in the NFL.
Yeah. And it's like third of the way through.
5-1 as well, though the Buccaneers, their point spread's much tighter than the Colts. The Colts are dummying teams, where the Bucs are winning a lot of really close games. Like right now, Baker Mayfield is still my number 1 pick for MVP, but I think Daniel Jones, he's right up there because truthfully, Josh Allen has slipped for me with 2 straight losses. They're not even leading the AFC East anymore. Lamar Jackson won't get it. Patty Mahomes, okay, he's starting to turn around now, but like the Chiefs are only looking so-so.
Yeah.
Trevor Lawrence is too inconsistent. Aaron Rodgers, I still think, is going to fall apart.
He's
And
starting to already.
screw it, Joe.
Oh, come
Let's
back.
let's have
He almost won the other day.
Yeah, but he pulled a Bo Levi Mitchell, was over celebrating with over 2.5 minutes left.
Okay.
Right? And a veteran shouldn't be doing that. I think it gets the whole team thinking the game's done.
Oh, I think it'll be fine.
Talking to Steeler fans, they're still on the fence on Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
So, no, I think people, when I said this to a couple of my friends, they think I'm crazy, and I think Daniel Jones could win MVP.
I think he could.
I think right now, I think Baker Mayfield's the front runner, but I do think Daniel Jones could win MVP.
I can totally see it. Doesn't matter who you are with Danny Pass, doesn't matter what the stats are for that year, right? And right now, Daniel Jones' stats are incredible. You're over third of the way through the season. So at the point where it's starting to mean something. That week one, I'll be like, okay, fine. But, you've played quite a few games now. So,
not week one anymore, right? Like the NFL, we're almost a third of the way through the season.
Right.
So, look, I honestly think Daniel Jones is proving a lot of people wrong. Don't get me wrong, the Giants are doing really well with Jackson Dart, although they blew their defense. I think needs to give their head a shake, considering they let the Buccaneers score 33 points in the fourth quarter and blew that lead, especially missing 2 extra points, which basically cost you the game. And I think another team that's in a lot of trouble, I think, is the Miami Dolphins. 1-6.
Oh, they're awful.
Yeah,
after he threw his third interception. The Jets are another team too. Weirdly enough, at least their point spread's not as bad as the Dolphins, but they're 0-7. Now the Jets have had some close games. Who had it on their bingo card though, but the Ravens being 1-5 at this point in the
year? Yeah, I was talking about that.
It doesn't help they don't have Lamar Jackson, but
yeah, but it used to be even without Lamar Jackson, they'd find ways to win.
Yeah, but they don't have a quarterback though.
Who's starting for them now?
Oh, I don't even know the guy's name. That's up there.
Well, let's look. The last game they got dummied 17-3 by the Rams.
Yeah.
And it's Cooper Rush, who weirdly enough put up some decent numbers.
He's a decent quarterback. Back in Dallas.
Cowboys, he went 5-1 as a starter at one point with the Cowboys. But
that's right.
Derrick Henry's doing what he can. But I don't know. I did not expect the Ravens, because even when Lamar was healthy, they weren't winning a lot of games.
That's right.
So I don't know. I think the NFL, we got a lot of interesting things coming up. It's not in the script, but let's quickly touch about Monday Night Football, which is obviously tonight because it's Monday morning right now. So we got Monday Night Football coming right up around the corner. And I think this Buccaneers-Lions game, I think this is a game to see how much of a real deal the Buccaneers are.
Yeah.
I mean, the Lions are coming off a tough loss to the Chiefs.
Yeah,
I'll be honest, it's Texans, Seahawks at 10. I don't really care.
Oh, yeah. Speaking about the Chiefs, man, holy moly.
Oh, my gosh. It was the Raiders, but still, they put
up
a game.
Rice is back now. I told you guys called Chris and said once Rice and Worthy get back, this is a team that all they had to do is stay in the hunt. Now they're
all
in
they
the
have
hunt.
all they have to do is be able to catch balls that hit the ground, and they're fine.
That's right.
Sorry, but this team, they're kind of like the Patriots when they got caught cheating multiple times. It's hard for me to feel a team is that good when I don't feel they beat teams fairly. The one Super Bowl that was officiated fairly, they got dummied.
They did.
So, yeah, they're still a contender, obviously, but look, I think the Lions and the Bucks, I think this is going to be a hell of a game. You got the Buccaneers.
Oh, it's a great game.
They're the real deal. You have the Lions that came off a tough loss to the Chiefs. And yes, I know the Chiefs just dummied the Raiders, but I'm waiting till the Chiefs play like the Bills to really see where I think this team's at.
November 2nd, baby.
Call me crazy, but you think the ratings of Monday Night Football will be affected because of the Jays game?
No.
I would say so, yeah. I think there could be some people who care more about who's going to go in the World Series than Monday Night Football.
Yeah, I agree.
Depends where you're at, right? Seattle's not a big market, though.
That's very true. So,
and people in Canada.
I mean, the Seahawks play, but I mean, I don't really think anyone's going to really care.
Yeah.
Because Seahawks aren't looking very good. Actually, the Seahawks are looking decent, actually. Sam Darnold's turning out to look...
I was going to say, I thought we didn't look that bad. I think we're on 500.
Just they beat the Jags, this week, 20-12. And Sam Darnold again, 16 for 27, 295, and 2 TDs last week. So Sam Darnold's Sam Darnold's looked okay. Right? Again, I don't think he's a MVP candidate, although actually you got to look 1,500 yards, 11 TDs, only 3 interceptions, an efficiency rating of 116. Sam Darnold's killing it. I think the Vikings are maybe wishing they just kept Darnold.
Yeah, I know. I was
They
surprised
should
if they
have.
didn't.
They should have. I don't know why they just all they had to do was sign Darnold to a 1-year deal.
Yeah, exactly.
And he could have learned under McCarthy. They had McCarthy learn under Darnold, give him some opportunities, and give McCarthy a year because he never even had a full preseason last year.
Right,
But
exactly.
again, Monday Night Football should be very, very exciting, and I can't wait for the Toronto Blue Jays. Unfortunately, I won't be able to be going live beforehand, but I will put out a video on Monday afternoon about some thoughts I have on the Jays. But I think it's time we wrap up the show. Dan, do you have a positive line for the final word at the desk?
I
Or
do, yeah. I
you
said
do?
this in our live show, but I think it's so important that I mentioned it again. I mean, there are a lot of compliments on my beautiful maple leaf hoodie here, and it's an indigenous maple leaf with the CN Tower in the middle. Here's the name of his Instagram page and his company, Big Neats here. And he's our Argos season ticket holder. He goes by Argo Fluffy. He designs all his own sports logos, so hats and blankets and hoodies, and does beautiful indigenous sports logos and indigenous arts. I think it's important to support our indigenous community and support our local business. So just a huge shout out to him.
Absolutely. It's always great to support Indigenous artists.
I see you wearing your Argos indigenous
I'm
hat
wearing my
too.
Argo Indigenous hat, which wasn't designed by Argo Fluffy, but I do have a beautiful Argo Indigenous sweater that I wear once it gets a little chillier out. And it's a one-of-a-kind sweater. Argo Fluffy makes some absolutely beautiful artwork, and the clothing is just phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of clothing, too, I am working on designing some Analyst Desk swag, which will include hats will probably be the first thing we'll be launching. So keep an eye out for that. But on that bombshell and Dan's awesome final word at the desk, it is time that we wrap up the show for the morning, as it's 3 a.m. in the morning, but not M&M's 3 a.m., which is good because that means we'd be like drinking blood like Megan Fox and MGK. MGK, halftime show, Grey Cup. Let me know your thoughts on that too. But thank you very much for watching the Analyst Desk, where every day feels like game day. I'm Jacob Moore, the self-proclaimed sports analyst, joined by the best panel you could ask for, Mr. Lane Dashing Daskho, who doesn't need sleeves to please, and Mr. More for Your Money, who finally learned after almost a year of doing podcasts together that when the air conditioning's on, he can wear a sweater. Thank you very much for watching.
Why air conditioning's on October, we don't know.
So I don't have bloody noses all over the set. But thank you very much for watching, everyone. We will see you back at the Analyst Desk very, very soon. Maybe even for a Blue Jays post-game show, depending on how everyone's work life is going. But we will be back. Enjoy your morning. Enjoy a cup of coffee. And thank you for joining the Analyst Desk, where every day feels like game day.
Bye-bye.
Lane, wave.
Yes, nods.
Bye-bye.